Hello, my name's Zel Mason. Welcome to my London's Calling session. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the V2MOM and how it's a tool that can be used to align your business, your Salesforce project, or even your personal projects. So the V2MOM has a history that's very firmly rooted in Salesforce. In fact, that history goes right back to when Mark Benioff first started the company. And it was just him and three friends in a rented flat in Telegraph Hill in San Francisco, trying to work out how they were going to create and grow their business in a way that would always feel authentic, always keep them on track, and keep the business aligned very closely and strongly as they grew. So that was when Mark created the V2MOM framework. It gave them a way to talk through their plans for Salesforce as a business in a very clear, direct, and collaborative way. So Mark came up with 5 fundamental questions to ask to really help clarify the goals and vision for Salesforce as a business and to help communicate it to the whole team. And what that tool continues to do today is make sure that everyone is on the same page at all times. So each of these questions is designed to help you build a detailed roadmap of where you're going and how you're going to get there. Let's have a look at what those 5 questions are. They constitute a question around vision. So what do you want to achieve? The next question is around values. What's important to you as a business? The third is about methods. How do you go about achieving your goals? The fourth is about obstacles. What might prevent you from achieving your goals? And finally, the second M is about measures. How do you know when you've succeeded? What does success look like? So we're going to take a closer look at how you can work through these 5 questions and define them to come up with a clear goal for your business or project. We'll start with vision. So this is where you need to define what you want to accomplish. I advise people to write out 3 sentences as a maximum. If you have more than 3 points, you may want to refine them by priority so that you get a sense of what's the most important thing that you need to achieve. Then you need to consider what impact your vision will have on your company, your employees, your customers, and the wider community. No business exists in a vacuum, and that's why we look at this holistically. And finally, make it fun, make it inspiring. I'm in marketing, I'm a marketing director, so of course I'm going to tell you to make sure that it's on brand, but really your vision should be a reflection of your company's personality. So I have an example. We are going to look at the TACPAC e-commerce and fulfillment business. So we've worked with TACPAC to look at what their vision is going to be. So they've defined that as to be a global first choice e-commerce fulfillment and storage company with $28 million revenue by 2024. That's a very smartly written vision because it has a clear vision of where they want to go in terms of numbers and the time frame in which they want to achieve that. They're also thinking about the impact on their company. So they've defined that they want their vision to be a reputation for getting stuff done well, i.e. operational excellence, the place people really want to work. That is to be an employer of choice in their sector, having our customers be raving fans, And that's about providing that high quality and customer service that is a trusted asset. And they also want to plant trees, save the environment, and be decent. And that's about growing a sustainable business that has a positive environmental impact. So you can see how this aligns to their individual business sector to come up with very clear and definite goals. Next, we look at the values. How do you go about achieving this vision? So, which 3 values are the most important as you pursue this vision? We ask you to look at how you describe those values in a way that means it's very easy for people to follow them, and people can be really clear about what it means to live those values in the course of their job. Because these are the values that will guide your everyday decision. When you reach a point in the project or your business where you have to make a choice and there are perhaps some trade-offs, it's going to be your values that really guides you in how you make those choices. So let's look at what that looks like for TACPAC. Their core values are customer service. So to TACPAC, nothing is more important than delivering on time. And that means a high quality, state-of-the-art service and customer experience. They want to surprise and delight customers with a unique experience that wows them every time. Next, they've decided that growth is their next most important value. So they want to grow rapidly and outpace competitors. So their goal of $28 million is great, but 30 million would be even better. And that really shows what their vision and values are. And finally, innovation. They want to use the best technologies and not be afraid to challenge the status quo. So everything has to enhance their quality, deliver on-time performance and the best customer experience. So we're really getting a sense of what's important to this company and how it applies to their business. So that's followed with the first M of the V2MOM, methods. Now here is where we say, list out 5 to 8 things you want to accomplish. Now, we say that 5 to 8 is ideal because if you have more than that, it starts to get a little confusing and becomes more difficult to prioritize. And you start adding in extra things that are probably not part of your vision. Next, do your methods align to your wider corporate plan? If this isn't the case, then you need to rectify that. Alignment is a key part of the V2MOM's purpose. So if you find that your methods to deliver don't align with your wider business actions, you need to go back and revise this because it may be that both documents need some revision. And finally, we recommend prioritizing the order of your methods so that you have the highest priority method at the top of your list. So let's see what that looks like for TACPAC. Their methods will be to develop and implement partnerships across Europe and Asia to increase their sales, customer base and global footprint. Next, they will implement technology that connects their sales, marketing and service so that they know more about their customers' needs. Following that, they will speed up the booking process. And finally, deliver amazing customer service by offering customers more ways to communicate and get answers to their problems. So they want to delight them every time. And you're starting to see them build the picture of how they're going to go about achieving their vision and living their values. So what the V2MOM is doing is helping you create a connected and consistent plan for your project. And of course, no project comes without its obstacles. So what's going to make achieving your vision and executing your methods more difficult? It's better to be prepared. So think about what you need to be mindful of to overcome your obstacles. What specifically can you do that's going to tackle each of the things that may get in the way of your methods? Let's look at what this may look like for TACPAC. So they know that they have budget limitations and they realise that that's okay. They can't afford to do everything now. So it may mean saving various parts of the project for later and prioritising. They've identified adoption. This is going to be a new way of working across marketing, sales, and customer service. So they're going to need to look at how they roll this out and train their workforce. Then talent. So they don't have a lot of experience of digital transformation amongst key stakeholders. So it's time to start thinking about partners that they may want to bring in to help them. And similarly, knowledge. How do they decide what they need right now and what can wait for later? And this may be where they reach out into the wider Salesforce partnership community to think about who's out there who can help guide them through this digital transformation. And finally, we come to measures. So how do you know when you've been successful? What does success look like for your business or your project? And when you look at the measures, focus on what is an actual measurable outcome for you. For example, 80% of managers rated as highly effective is something that you can measure. And that starts with knowing what your baseline measurements might be so that you can run a comparison to see what your levels of success look like. So we recommend that you make your measures SMART. Now, that's an acronym that I'm sure most people are familiar with, and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, for example, we want to be market leaders is not a SMART measure. Be rated in the top 3 pet insurance companies in Petco Digest by the end of FY21 is a SMART measure. It gives you something that's very specific and achievable and time-bound, something that you can definitely put a measure to. And measures are particularly important because these are going to cascade throughout your project. There will be smaller measures along the way that will help tell you if your project is on track or not. And that's certainly true if you use this at a bigger business level too. So let's look at what that looks like for TACPAC. So you can see that their number 1 priority measure reflects their vision, which is to achieve $28 million in revenue by the end of 2024. Next, they want to acquire a top 10 competitor by the end of 2022. So you're starting to see how they plan to grow through acquisition. They then want to launch their new sales, booking and customer service platform by the end of Q2 2022. Next, they intend to train their existing 9,000 employees in their new customer experience approach. They also want to achieve a 95% CSAT rating, which would be lovely, and win the LDNC Customer Service Award. So you can see that these are measures that not only can they measure once achieved, but they can track their progress along the way. And that's really important because measures will cascade throughout the business or throughout the project. You will have other people that have responsibilities that feed into these measures. And again, because the V2MOM is a tool for alignment, everybody's goal should be to help achieve these measures. And if it doesn't, then that leads to questions over whether that is helping to achieve your project or business goals. And that is the total summary of the V2MOM. Now we have time for any questions, so ask away. Thank you very much.